Hello, welcome to episode 84 of FrannyDoMakes. My name is Fran. I am joining you today from a cold and rainy and dark and gloomy Leeds in the north of England in West Yorkshire. Today is the 11th of November. It is Remembrance Day, so lest we forget and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, I should have my poppy on, shouldn't I? Let me go and remedy that. There we go. Sorry, it was on my coat. So yes, welcome to my channel. This is the place on the internet where I talk about all the things that I make and create, usually over a 2-week period. I think that's about, it's been a week extra. I put up an extra video last week, which is more of a vlog style video, because I wanted to get some things finished, which I have. So I have 3 finished objects to show you today. I've got knitting, I've got crochet, I've got some acquisitions, and I've got some new cast-ons which have got very little progress on them so far because I've only just cast them on. And I think that's it. So yeah, if you would like to listen to me talk about that kind of thing, then please do pull up a chair, grab a drink of something. I've got some kind of fruit tea, it's nice and warm. And yeah, settle in and we'll have a chat. If you like to find me elsewhere on the internet, you can find me online as @FrannyDoMakes in most places. So Instagram, Ravelry, Facebook, TikTok, Threads. Does anyone use that anymore? All those places you can find me. And there is a website as well which has any links to shops and things like that, which is frannydo.co.uk. So yes, this is my first finished object. It is the Primrose Slipover by Avec Anna. I will stand up and show you. So it is like a sort of bib style situation, I suppose. So you knit a front and a back, and then you knit some ties. The pattern shows these sort of tied in a bow. Let me show you. Like that, which I find a little bit bulky, so I've been tying them sort of like a tie, so just wrapping it round and then putting it through the middle, something like that. So it's not as bulky on the sides and they hang down a bit lower. Yeah, so it's you work the front and then you pick up on the shoulder seams and you work the back. There is ribbing on the bottom. It's an I-cord side edge. Then you pick up stitches around the neck and do a folded neckline. I'm thinking that's right, yeah. And then you pick up these stitches along the side and do some double knitted straps. Did I say? Yes, I did. So I used some yarns, some commercial yarns for mine. I used the Yarn Smith's Merino sock in plum. I think it's something plum, but it's plum. And I used Chaos Yarns brushed alpaca in the colourway Magnificent, which is this lovely pinky purple. So together you can see that's them separately, and together they've made like a sort of in-between colour, which is really nice. So there is some kind of variation in the colours there as it knits up, which I really like. I used the recommended needles as per the pattern. I made the size 100, so she doesn't have sizes like medium, small, it's just the size of the bust measurement, so that's 100. But I think with this, I don't think it really matters. You just want to make sure that it's wide enough to cover the shoulders, which it is. And yeah, I blocked mine before I put the ties on, because I wanted to make sure they were in the right position, because I wanted them dead on my waist. This happened last time. There's a magpie, must be nesting somewhere above my window, and it flaps about on my window. Scares me. So yes, the instructions for the ties were a little bit vague. I knit mine alongside Bex from Bex Creates, so we did kind of a knit along together, which I'm so glad we did that, because otherwise I would have had no clue whatsoever on what I was doing here. So when Bex got to that point, I was like, hey, I'm a bit scared about doing this, and she went, well, I've done this. She must have done that style of double knitting before, and I've never done that. But so yeah, she gave me really good advice, which was, because the instructions say pick up 12 stitches along this edge, but if you think about it, they are 12 stitches, but you're double knitting them, so it'll only be half of the size, because you knit sort of off the front and off the back in a way. So she said to pick up like in both loops of the stitch that you're picking up, so instead of just picking up 12 stitches along, you're going to go 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2. Does that make sense? So yeah, that made it super easy. And I just did knit 1 slip 1 all the way along, and then the same on the other side, so it creates this seamless knitted on both sides strip. What else did I say? I wish I had not procrastinated so long in picking up the ties, because really they weren't that difficult and they weren't that boring. They were done fairly quickly. I mean, it was quite kind of monotonous because you had to do 4 of them, but it wasn't that bad. I wish I'd just picked them up and got them done. So it took slightly longer than I thought it would have done. So I started it on the 6th of September and I finished on the 21st of October. But for 2 weeks of that, I just didn't even do anything on it. In the end, I used 1.5 skeins of this and 2 and a bit skeins of this. I had a full skein of this still left, which is in that box, probably for destashing, because I don't need to keep another ball of it. Yeah, so that is I mean, you'd probably still have to buy, unless you were getting 50 grams worth of merino of the 4-ply, which I don't know many places do sell it in 50 gram balls, but yeah, I only need 1.5 of that, so I've still got half a ball. But I could probably make some socks or something with that. It's a nice colour. I'll use it for something else. So yeah, 211 grams in total it weighs. So that's the yarn out. And overall, I'm very pleased with it. I've not had a chance to really wear it. Well, I have. I just haven't worn it yet, which I think I need to just get it worn, because it is very nice. I really like the colour. I think it's a good colour for my skin tone and things, and yeah, I like it. I'm very pleased with it. I'm pleased that it's finished, and I like the fabric, I like the texture, I like the colour. Yeah, and yeah, I'm glad I'd rather tie it this way than in the bows, because I think that gets a bit annoying. So that is finished object number 1. I'm going to get changed and then I will show you the next one. Okay, so next up is... No, I'll save that for last. Next up is my Cloudy Nora. This is a shawl that has been on the needles for a long time. I cast this on as part of the spring shawlathon that we held earlier in the year. So that was April, May, June. I'd already knit one shawl, which was my stripometry. And I cast on another one because I've had this in my plans to make for a while. I had 2 yarns that I wanted to use, so I'd had this lace Surrey alpaca from Truly Hooked, which is called Duckling, which I've had in stash for a good couple of years. And I had bought this boucle from Mamie and Florrie, which is called The Edge of Picasso, which I'd bought at a yarn show just to go with this because I thought it would go. And I have finally finished. Now this, it's a lovely pattern. There you go, I'll hold it up. So you knit it in rows of lace and the boucle, and you add these bits which are like sort of clouds, like thicker bits where you do like short rows to make them. But overall I think Helin from Ducky Darlings made one and she just did the stripes, and there's another pattern called I think the Cirrus, which I think is like a crochet version of it, but that's just plain stripes. And I think I would have got it done quicker if I'd have just done that, because I had to keep looking at the pattern for the clouds, and I don't think really they had a great deal to it once you've got it on anyway. And I was like, I don't know how much I really like it, but when I've got it on I absolutely love it. It's literally, it is like wearing a cloud. It's so light and fluffy, but so warm because of the alpaca. It's just lovely. And you do like a reversed I-cord, so you do it pearls instead of knits, and so it makes a really nice texture. So I don't know if I need to stand up for this again, but there you can see it's quite nice and hangs lovely. You could tie it up as well if you wanted a bit of something different. But yeah, I really do enjoy wearing it. It's really nice. I would make it again, but without the clouds, because I found them a bit annoying. But you might not. You might like that kind of. I just felt it slowed me down, and by that point I just wanted it finished. But once I'd got the hang of it, they're not difficult to do. I was procrastinating, which don't we all always. So, what was I going to say? I knit it as to pattern, so I knit with a 4.5mm needle, except for the bind off where I up to a 5mm for the bind off. And it's a pattern by Murison. I don't know if I'd said that, but I'll put that down. And I used 93 grams of the boucle, so I've not got much left of that at all, and I used 37 grams of the alpaca. So it says when binding off, make sure you've got 20 grams left of the boucle, I think, or 20% left of the boucle before you bind off. So I think I could maybe have got another row out of it, another plain row maybe, but I didn't want to risk it and then not have enough for the bind off, so I ended up with a bit left over. But you know, that's what it is, isn't it? It's plenty big enough, and it really poofs up into a nice, lovely. It's honestly, it's lovely to wear. I really like it for wearing, definitely. The process of it, like I said, I didn't enjoy overly much, but I think that's just me. The pattern was really clearly written and concise and easy to follow, and you've got two different options for the clouds, one where the large bit is on one side and then another one where the large bit is on the other side. So yeah, I'm just again annoyed that it took me so long to finish it. So yes, and it does give you the other option to carry the yarns down the edge if you wanted to, so if you didn't want to cut the yarns, but I cut them and just like weaving Stevened them as I went, so I just had some little bit of grass in it or something, little bits to snip off at the end. So yeah, but overall I'm really pleased with it. I really like it as a shawl, and as a wearable item it is really nice. So that's my cloudy Nora. Right then, now onto my pièce de résistance, if that's how you say it. This is my bright cardigan, which is a pattern from Cassie Ward. This was from let me find it, because it's from a magazine. So it's a pattern from Simply Crochet, issue number 162. I have the Readly app, so if you watch Ali from Little Drops of Wonderful, she has a sort of affiliation with them, and you can get a discount off the Readly app. So I had like a free trial for a bit, and then I was going to cancel, and they said, oh, how about this offer? So I've got like it a bit cheaper again. But they are very useful for things like that. So yeah, I saw this pattern. It was the cover pattern for the magazine. I thought, oh, that looks nice. And I thought, oh, I know, I've got loads of leftover DK minis from my Kintra sweater which I could use. And so I immediately bought the Yarn Smith yarn, which was the recommended yarn, and I cast on. So I made the small stroke medium size. To be honest, it's not a great deal different. I think there's only 3 sizes, but you could just add more to it if you needed, and it is quite oversized. So it's made up out of these sort of almost elongated hexagon motifs here, which you use the 2 colours of the Yarn Smiths. So this, I need to be in so you can see me talking. There we go. So this colour is blush and this colour is black, and then all these little pieces are just leftover DK minis from my stash, which I still have not used up. They used such a tiny amount, like 2 grams maybe, not even that, for these little granny squares. So you make all these pieces, then you make some half ones to fill in the gaps, then you make some little triangles and little half ones here, and then you make the sleeves. Then you sew it all together, and then you make a crochet ribbon band. And honestly, I absolutely love this cardigan. I love it so much. It's so nice. It's just so comfy. The yarn is lovely. So it's a Yarn Smith Merino DK, which blocks out amazing. Like when I'd first made these sleeves, they were like this on me, and I was like, but it's blocked out massive, which I'm pleased with, because I'd rather have a slouchy sleeve than a too short sleeve, and the cuff keeps it out of the way. In terms of the yarn usage, the pattern told me to get 8 skeins of both the black and the cream, and I only used 5 and a bit skeins of the black, but I used nearly all of the cream because you have to do all this, and I sewed it all together with the cream, and you go around each of the motifs with the cream, so it does use slightly more of that. And also another point in terms of the construction, so you make each piece, and so you make the back and the two fronts, and you make the sleeves, and then you sew them together. But I did it different. So if this is, so these were the fronts, so it was 2 and then 1 and 2 halves, and then 2 and then 1 and 2 halves. So at this point here, this one here, this yellow, would have been two half pieces. Like, do you see there's a half, there are 2 half pieces there. But I was like, that's going to look odd just there, having 2 halves, and there were different colours. So instead of that, I made an extra whole motif, and I had to change something. I had to make some extras of these as well, to put in there, just because I thought it would have looked nicer. Which meant that then I had to, when I was sewing them together, I had to sort of sew it all together apart from the gaps for the arms. So I sewed it all together up to this point here, and then I left these two separate, sewed up the top, added the arm, and then sewed that bit up there. I hope that makes sense. If you watched the last the vlog style video that I did for this, I do go through it because I'm doing it at the time. But yeah, I did make the mistake of sewing my arms on inside out. Not that you can tell because it's just granny stitch and it looks the same on either side, but the pick-up stitches around this bit are neater on the inside, but again you can't see it because it folds over anyway. I just had to poke some of my ends through to the other side because I'd sewed them in on the inside like you do and left little sticks, little short bits hanging out. So I had to poke some of those through. But yeah, I've worn it quite a lot since I've finished it. I've had some amazing comments about it. Lots of people are enjoying it and going to try and have a go at making it. So I think at the moment you can still only get it on the magazine, but obviously you can buy past issues if you want to, and eventually I think the pattern will come out to buy on its own, but currently it's just in the magazine. There's another Cassie Warder's got another lovely pattern in this month's issue where it's like a granny stitch. I ain't got it on my phone, it's on my iPad. A granny stitch jumper, which is really nice. So I would recommend that as well. Yeah, so in the end it took me from, I started it on the 7th of June and I finished it on the 28th of October. I used 750 grams worth of yarn in the end, so it is quite a heavy garment. But yeah, I used eight of the blush colour, 5 of the others, and approximately like 100 grams of the minis. So you could do it just in one colour, each of these, but I think the multicoloured ones just looks so much fun. And if you've got the minis to use, then why not? I did make the arms the same, and that's with more solid yarns, and then I've got more of the variegated ones in the actual main body of the cardigan, but there are some solid ones in there as well. But you know when you make something and you can't stop looking at it, honestly I love it so much. I really love it. So yeah, that's 3 things that I really wanted to get finished and are now finished. So those project cards can go in the little journal. If you are interested in the project cards, you can get them off the coffee shop. That will be linked below, where you can make a note of all the information there. So the name of the project, the designer, the size that you've made when you started it, the yarn you used, the needle and hook, and then any notes I'll make on the back there. There you go. And then you can attach a bit of yarn so you know what kind of yarn you used. So I do have some leftover half ones because I took those out from the side. But that's how they work up. Because yeah, otherwise it would have looked like that on the side, which I thought was a bit messy. And if you look at the actual pattern picture, it's not too hard stuck together, it's a full thing. So maybe it's just for ease of explaining how to put it together, because otherwise you'd be saying, well, you want to go around this and then go up there. Probably to make it easier to explain, maybe that's why she's done that. There we go, that is all my finished items. I still have an outstanding prize winner for the Halloween yarn, so if you haven't watched last time's episode, then please do, because you could be the winner and you don't know about it. So not the vlog episode, the normal podcast, so episode 83. If you don't watch it by next time, I'm going to redraw it. Okay, and let's go on to whips. So I've got one that's, oh no, hang on, I've got a half finished, two new cast-ons, an almost finished, and a part way through. That doesn't make much sense, does it? But there you go. I've got one sock finished. Let me pop it on a blocker. These are a bit late, but they can be ready for next year, because they're not going to be ready for this one because it's past. So these are my Halloween cast on. They are yarns from, well, it's this basically, it's this yarn but without the mini. I just got 100 gram skein of the yarn. So it's Yellow Door Yarn Company, and the colourway is Hello Skein. And yeah, I just had a purple mini that I put with it. So I did a cast on and a couple of rows in the contrast colour, then did 2x2 rib, just a vanilla sock, a afterthought heel, and I did a stripe of the mini, because I only had a 10 gram mini, I didn't want to use too much of it, a stripe, and then a rounded toe. So that's one finished. It's got a little ghosty stitch marker there. I think that was from Yellow Door Yarn Company as well. So that's one done. That was done on a 2.25mm needle. It's 64 stitches. And was living in a little Halloween bag from Candy School Crafts, and that glows in the dark. I'm leaving it in there. I will get it finished at some point. I have got another sock project on the needles, but I haven't worked on that either. That's the Stillwater socks. I took them on holiday and I literally made one, and then I haven't made the other one. So that's another one I need to cast on. Also, another work in progress that is more on the way of being finished. It's living in this bag from Jackie at Soft Accents. It's got a jangly bag charm on it, which did have pusheen on it, but I stood on it and pushing broke, so instead it's got some stitch markers on it and a chain. Oh, and there's a pin on there. Just be happy somebody bought me. And this is my Felix sweater. So this is made using yarn from Giddy Yarns, so Helin from Giddy Yarns. I'm using the Tale of Piglin Bland. It is this speckled colourway, and this Siri Alpaca, which is shimmer, which is a gorgeous colour. And I am finished with the body and I'm part way down one sleeve. There we go. Now I hadn't realised, but there is a little bit of pooling on the front there, but I'm not ripping it back, I can't be bothered. It's more noticeable on the screen. It's just got a little bit of a swirl there. I should have alternated skeins. I know I should have done it, but I didn't, so it doesn't matter. It's still very nice. And it's the nature of hand-dyed yarn, so I didn't notice it when I was knitting it. I think it just looks worse on the screen. You can only just see it there. Just a whoosh. Yeah, it's lovely fabric. So I am, can you see? I need to try it on actually and see how far down I am. But I've done all the increases, I'm just working round and round. I've still got plenty of yarn left, but I did make 2 balls of each yarn so that I knew I had enough for the sleeves. But I think in the pattern it's like bracelet length sleeves, but I like them a bit longer, so I'll probably make them a bit longer. So I just need to try it on and see where I'm at. But yeah, this is the Lento by Jonna Helin, I believe is her name. Yeah, it's beautiful. Maybe I should have gone back and alternated the skeins. You can only just see it in real life, I'm not bothered. When I've got it on, who's going to be looking that closely anyway? So there we go. Using the recommended needles, the chow goos. I'd used just over half of the amount of yarn for the body, so I've still got, I had 98 grams left of, so I had 2 skeins of each, so 200 grams of the 4-ply, 250 grams of the fluff, and after I'd finished the body I had 98 grams left of the 4-ply and 45 grams left of the fluff, and I made my body longer than it says in the pattern because I've got a long body and it would have been like up in my armpits otherwise. So that's that. Oh, I've also finished, well I haven't finished, but I've put in this month's minis into my Bloomin' Lovely Blanket Club project. So if you haven't put yours in yet or you've not got them, then don't look at this bit. Okay, so I'm making a giant granny triangle blanket. There you go. It's pretty hard to show, but this month's colours were inspired by Aces. So it's October, so if you don't want to see, don't look. They're the colours. Very autumnal, pretty. I love an Acer. We've got 2 in our garden. They've all lost their leaves now. They went bright red and then they all fell off. So the colourways are worked up. I think in the other side you can see them all. Yes. So we had this one, this one, this one and this one. So those last 4 colours. So I'm only getting 1 row really now out of them. Well, on one side I get a row of each one, and then on the other side it's like a bit different. But I like how it's kind of showing the change in the seasons, like it's getting much more autumnal now after the bright colours of the summer. Oh, it's lovely. I really like it. It's so heavy. I'm weaving in my ends as I go. Oof. It's heavy though. But yeah, I love that it's using all the yarn. It's had to be upgraded into my sheet bag because it's too big. That's from Jibby Rousseau's. There we go. Okay. Right, I've got these two that are not much to show, but I'll explain what I'm doing anyway. So these are some gift knits that I'm wanting to do. One for Mr. B and one for Minnie. So first of all, I'm wanting to have a go at a doodle knit project. So the Pacific Knit Co. Jamie Lomax, her patterns. And I was watching something, or I was looking at patterns, I can't remember why. I think Wool and Wishes had talked about, she had some new patterns out, and anyway I was on the website and I found this one. I'll put a picture up that looks like Space Invaders. It's called the 8-bit Doodle Cowl, and because I had this black left over from my cardigan, I thought, oh, I can use that as the background. Still got some minis left from the cardigan. So I'm hoping I can eke those out for the colour work. And I just picked up a skein, again from Yellow Door Yarn Company, of some speckled, different bright colours in it. I think it's called Eternal Optimist. It's their double knit superwash merino, and it's this colour. So I have done, it's hard to show because it just looks like this. So far I've done my provisional cast on, which I use the crochet hook method, and I've cast on and knit a few things. It says like 4 inches, I think that's about what that is. Then you start the colour work and then you go back round to this and then you graft it. So it'll be double thickness all the way around. Yeah, so that's all I've done on that so far. So I'm probably going to take that with me to the wool aid retreat at the weekend. I've also cast on a project for Minnie that's living in this bag from Coffee and Yarn Cakes. And this will be a love note. So I'm using some Drops Fiesta DK weight. I think the colourway is Watermelon. It just says it's 75% wool, 25% polyamide, colour 18. So I've got 5 skeins of it. Yeah, and I've done again the provisional cast on, and I've just done the first row of the lace weight of the lace work. It is a because I'm doing it in DK, I'm not so sure on the gauge. It looks very gappy. But I think that's because you're doing it looks a bit messy. I'll see how I get on with it. Because normally it's got fluff and it fills in the gaps a bit more, doesn't it? Well, it might do when it's blocked, I don't know. So that's that. I'll probably take that as well, because hopefully I'll get the lace done and it'll just be round and round. And then my last project I've got to show, I think this is the last one. Yeah, again, is living in a Candy School crafts bag. This has got unicorn guinea pigs on it, obviously. And this is my One Love shawl, which is the mystery knit along from Joji Locatelli. It's a One Skein Wonder shawl, and I've got clue 1 and clue 2 to show you, but they are pretty much the same. I am using the yarn that I dyed at the last Wool Lay retreat, which is inspired by a fuchsia from my mum and dad's garden. And I just didn't know what to make with it, and it was getting a bit precious, and I was scared of using it, but I think it's looking really nice in this shawl. So it's a bit hard to show you. So we've done, you do a garter tab cast on, which does make it a little bit humpy, but it's not too bad. I think we'll be able to block out. You do some garter stitch, and then there's this lace pattern. It's so hard to show you. And then again, some more lace here. I'm going to put something behind it. It's basically decreases in yarn overs. There have been some errors with the patterns, I think just because she's been getting them out so fast and then had to do a chart for some people, but how to show you it. See there? But it's nice, it's working up lovely, the yarn's working up really nice, I'm really pleased with it. So yeah, it's making me excited to knit up or create my next skein of yarn at the next retreat. I've lost my card out of there. So yeah, that's the Lay Family yarn label there. There we go. Okay, so that's everything in terms of projects. I do have a couple of acquisitions that I'll show you. So I'd picked up a little yarn ball from Pickle Lily. There, so details. I just bought one of those ones with the little pumpkins on. Comes with a little lavender sachet, which is lovely. So this has poppers on the top and a popper on the side, so you can join that, but there's a little hole so your yarn could come out of the little hole, so like a little yarn bucket. Or you could do like 2 at a time socks and have one coming out of each side, the yarn out of each side of there. That'd be quite cool. Yeah, I haven't decided what I'm going to use it for yet, but I thought it was quite cute. I might take it on the retreat with me. It might be a nice stop things rolling about maybe. And I also have my green lambkin yarn Halloween countdown to show you. So this came in a lovely box with information, so it's all based on the witch's cottage there. So there's a little story to go with it. You got a little candle, so I got a blue one or a green one, which is for luck, and it says you can use a little affirmation, write it down and look at the candle flame and make your wishes. You got a little cup of tea, which I need to use. A gorgeous bag charm. How pretty is that? A little leaf. It's got a pumpkin on, yeah, a leaf and a pumpkin on the stitch marker. There. And then, I don't know how best to show you this. I'll just keep it in the box. And then here's all the yarns. So it starts from here. So we've got what's this? Crackling Fire, Orchard Harvest, Dried Herb Bouquet, Hips and Haws, Potion, how nice is that? I really like this one as well. What's this one? Tincture. There's some really sweet, like pastel-y ones. That one's crystals. This one's lovely. Patchwork quilt. Yeah, so they're all in there, but I am going to sort of make a kind of, not a fade, but like a colour sequence. I've taken a picture, so I'll put a picture up here of what order I'm going to do them in. And I'm thinking of making a crocheted cowl, so I can't remember what it's called. I'll put the picture up. It's by Tony Livesey, TL Yarn Crafts Trilogy? No, I can't remember what it's called. Anyway, but it uses up minis, so I'll probably not use the whole of the mini. I don't know if it's held double, I can't remember. Anyway, so I'm going to use those in that order. So I've written all the order down there, the order that I'm going to use them in. So at some point I will cake those up and cast it on, or start it. And that is everything. So I don't have any more acquisitions or any more projects to show you, but that is everything. So thank you for watching. If you've got this far, if you can please leave me a photo, an emoji of a plant, because I've just been watering my plants this morning. So a picture of a plant in a pot, please. Yeah, I hope the weather is a bit nicer for you. It's a bit miserable and horrible up here. Yeah, plans going forward. Obviously, I've got lots of works in progress to get on with. I will be going to the retreat on the weekend, so if you're going to be there, then please do say hello. I think there's a couple of you watching that are going on the same day as me, which is fabulous. Yeah, and basically just take care of yourselves, take care of each other, and I will see you on the next episode in 2 weeks' time. See you then. Bye.